In any event, maybe let me try my man Discombobulating Jones right now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I don't have a video of you, so if
I
you
don't
don't
know
have,
why.
all
I'm
right,
troubleshooting it now, but I
all
don't
right,
see why it's not coming up. I'm
all
keeping
right.
on
Well,
trying.
I tell you what, I will let's just roll with you right now. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, please welcome my man, ring announcer Henry Discombobulating Jones. How you doing, brother?
Man, I appreciate you, Billy. See, and my face is made for radio anyway, so this is perfect.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, if I would have known this, I would have made a face for you. All right. I
I
mean,
appreciate it, man.
but
Thank you. How
but
you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. And
It's been years.
but before we get started, all right.
Yeah.
With me asking some questions. I know that we spoke on the phone not too long ago, and we talked about Jake Paul, and at the time he was fighting Tank Davis, and
Hmm.
and you were like, Billy, you're gonna get mad at me because I know you're a boxing purist, but
Hmm.
you thought it was okay, and Tank obviously got into some trouble. What I'm looking for, is it true? Did he get into the trouble? Because I'm starting to hear second opinions now.
Well, two things can be true, as you know. He did get in trouble, but at the same time, they, meaning MVP, Jake Paul's promotion, wanted it to be scripted, and Tank wasn't going for that. He said, no, it's going to be a real fight, or it's not going to be a fight at all. He said he doesn't do exhibitions.
That's
So,
my fear. That's
yeah.
my fear with the Anthony Joshua, what you just said right now. And I saw a statement from Tank Davis that said that he didn't want to do scripted. Then I saw some AI video of Jake Paul crying over it. And it wasn't even Jake Paul. Like
Right.
he's, the steroids made his head twice the size. He was in that picture. But that's my fear, that he's pushing for a scripted fight, and I would hate Anthony Joshua to do that. Dak said earlier that the UK boxing fans, they wouldn't tolerate that.
Yeah, but truth be known, Billy C, where else is Anthony Joshua gonna get 50 to 100 million to do this?
I,
Nowhere.
I know I heard that he's getting 20, um,
20?
but
Really?
but
That's less
yeah,
than what Tank was gonna get.
yeah,
Much less.
no, I know,
Wow.
but
That tell you he's hurting then. He's desperate.
how could he be hurt? We were just figuring that he made well over 100 million in the ring so far.
How much did he keep?
Oh, you never know that. You
You
never
never
know that.
know. You never
But
know.
similar to what we discussed about Tank being fed up with the business and using a cash out, that could very well be Anthony Joshua's mindset.
Very well could be. That's true.
You know,
That's true. This you don't play boxing, man. And I'm of the mindset that fighters should get what they can while they can and keep most of their brain cells intact if they can. Because we've seen too many guys after the fact, their career's over with, they're through. They're walking around, with less than the full faculties. They can't get a job because they were ill prepared to get into any other line of work. And of course, our beloved sport does not have pension plans and health benefits like other sports. So it's a tough business, man. Get what you can while you can. Period.
and that's the main reason it's taken this turn, and it's always been an entertainment, but it seems
Yeah.
to be taking a turn to more scripted WWE type stuff.
True.
I'm
True.
just sad that it's come to this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and that's why we have to do more, collectively. We got to demand the fights that the public wants to see, get these guys paid. I make the analogy with the WNBA. They're about to get paid, man, and well deserved. The minimum salary is going to be a 500,000. That's beautiful. They deserve it. Why not?
Yeah.
So
Hey,
we need to do the same thing.
before I start asking you my questions, I got my man Coach K in the chat room. He's always on point. Okay, so he's got a question for you. All right.
Hmm.
First of all, Dax just said rumor has it that Anthony Joshua is making 92 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
But anyway, coaches as he says, ask Henry, is it true that when he first began his career, he spent his early years working for free?
Mm.
And did discombobulating come after your sister brought him a thesaurus?
Wow. Wow. Somebody knows my history.
No,
Coach K is on point.
he's got you, point.
Oh my
He's
goodness.
got you, bro. Does he
He
really?
went he went back 37 and a half years,
There
man.
you go.
Oh
That's
my
great.
God. And actually he went back close to 50 years with the story because I was watching a fight on TV my senior year of high school, and my sister had bought me a thesaurus, and I heard a distinctive nasal tone, dulcet tone gentleman say, "Never mind precedented ring experience have I ever seen a fighter so utterly discombobulated." It wasn't in the dictionary, but it was in that thesaurus to knock out, render senseless, completely upset the composure of. And of course, it was the one and only late great Howard Cosell
Of course.
commentating the fight. And so when I became a ring announcer in 1988, 37 years ago now, I said, I got to come up with something to get the sports writers and the media attention. And I had been through a lot of things in my life personally that could have discombobulated me. So I started calling myself Discombobulating, ING, so I could be the one doing the positive knocking out of my adversaries and adversities in life. And that's the
That's
story.
that's great.
Wow, Coach K.
I can always he's a
That's
lot of times I'll be
awesome.
doing the show and he'll bail me out on something. I'll have a brain lapse. I won't remember a name and coach is right there.
Wow.
But what does your preparation like before a fight? I mean,
Yeah,
you I know I've been at events with you,
we have.
and I know that you do research on the fighters and
Yeah.
everything. And I know you do something that I could never do, and that's actually learning how to pronounce the names correctly.
Oh,
What's your whole preparation
oh, wow.
process?
Wow. A loaded question here. Okay. So, you're right. I prepare intensely, maybe overly so, but it's better to know more than you need to know than not need something to know. You understand? So, I go to the weigh-ins. First of all, I research them online. I go to the weigh-in and talk to them, find out how they pronounce their names because that's most important.
Yep.
Um, I tell you a quick story that still traumatized me to this day, but motivates me at the same time. I took Spanish in high school 3 straight years, got straight A's every year, but that was just translating words. It really wasn't speaking it. So my first fight at the old convention center in DC back in 1988, I was so nervous, and it was a Hispanic fighter fighting. And I said, introducing Jesus Maldonado. Oh, the booze cascaded down. He ran from the corner into the center of the ring where I was, cursing me out in Spanish. I knew some of the words, right? And I said, "Oh, I know I wasn't supposed to say that. It's Jesus, of course." But I was nervous, you know. And so Michael Buffer became my mentor a couple of years later. And he told me, he said, listen, he said, prepare for each fight like it's the most important thing because it is to them. It could be their last one. You never know.
That's
So
right.
to every fighter, no matter if they're undefeated or winless, giving them the same respect. And so over the years, promoters have told me I've been responsible for some upsets because the B side has won after my introduction because they got so motivated.
Hey, that's good. Maybe that. Here's another tidbit. and
Huh?
that coach just said, and you just did a great segue. Maybe that is why Mark Too Sharp Johnson demanded that his contract had you
Oh,
involved as the announcer
oh
in
my God,
1998. This guy's killing me. Coach is finding
man,
out all this stuff. I mean,
Coach K,
hey, listen. To be
what?
honest with you, hey, listen, Henry. I'm just gonna hang up with you. I'm just gonna ask Coach all of the stuff I was gonna ask you.
Where did he get these cliff notes from, man?
He's
Oh
he
my
comes he
God.
comes up with some stuff, man.
Nah, he was an A straight student in school as well, because that's research there. That's
Yeah.
deep research. He went a deep dive on that, and that's correct. It was an ESPN fight, February 22nd, 1998, 10 years after I started. And let's just be perfectly transparent about it. ESPN did not want me to announce it. They were going to bring in their own ring announcer, Caucasian, let's call it like it is. And Mark and his father Ham demanded that I be the ring announcer and actually hand wrote me in the contract, you know. And so at the weigh-in, the producer said, "Oh, uh, yeah, we got everything straight, Mark." And Mark said, "Well, wait a minute. This is gonna be my ring announcer for tomorrow." He said, "No, we already got that." And Mark said, "No, you signed off on the contract," and had a copy of it where he had handwritten it in. So it was a sleight of hand move, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And Cedric Kushner was the promoter of record, and he loved it afterwards. He came up to me, he said, "Oh, this was fantastic. May he rest in peace. Oh, this was fantastic." I said, "Yeah, Mark is certainly a talent." He said, "He is, but I'm talking about you too. You had the crowd involved. That's what I like, the energy." He said, "You want to go on the road with us?" I said, "What's a trick question or something?" He said, "We're going up to Atlantic City in September." So we went up to Atlantic City, and I announced Ike Ibeabuchi. How about that for a name from the past?
There you go.
The
He he
president.
he's try,
Yeah.
he's trying to make a comeback, or he did fight a fight
He
or something.
did, and he won by knockout, but they said it wasn't nothing to write home about. He was supposed to win, and really was supposed to win early, and then he did.
What was your most memorable fight or event that you had to announce, and why?
And Coach K doesn't know this.
Well, he's already. Hey, listen, he's already got another one. He's saying, "Well, okay, is it really true that he has a photographic memory?" And I know that is true. I
Yeah,
know that
man.
myself, so I wasn't even going to ask you that one.
Well,
So
I still can take snapshots. I don't know about if it's perfectly photographic like it used to be. I mean, I'll be 70 years old in a couple months, so I don't know about all of that. But it's still a good picture. All right, answer your question. It was July 10th, 1996, Madison Square Garden. The Garden. The probably, not probably, definitely the most, hmm, let's just call it like it is, the worst riot in boxing history. Who were the
you
combatants?
were at that fight, Riddick Bowe and the Polish guy, right?
That's right, Andrew
Yeah.
Galata. I did the undercard for Buffer, and we kind of knew something was going to happen early in the night because those two demographics, Polish fans and black fans were in each other's face. It was good spirited at first, and then when the low blows and all that happened in the ring, man, it was bedlam throughout
Well,
the place.
Rock Newman didn't help matters any by attacking with the phone. Remember
He
when
was the catalyst.
I know, and didn't he hit Lou Duva in the head with
No,
his
he
phone?
didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't. It was what's his name? It was one of the bodyguards did, and he got banned for life
Oh,
from
because
ever going into
I
the
remember
judge.
the video showed Rock Newman with he had one of those newfangled flip phones or something. I
He
don't know.
did, but he didn't hit Duva. He
He
didn't
was
hit
throwing it.
Duva.
He jumped in that ring.
He
He
did.
looked like a wrestler.
He did.
Looked like
He matter of fact, he stepped over Bo. That was the first thing, and went to go towards Galata. And Galata was about to retaliate, and then Rock Newman's goons came to his rescue as they always did. Because if you remember the Fan Man and all of those,
Fan Man, yeah.
situations,
See, that's when
yeah.
that's when there was sideshows to boxing. Fan Man, the Evander Holyfield fight that he lands in the ring. He misjudged it a little bit, you know.
Oh
And
my
and and
goodness,
then there was the fight you and I were talking about up at Turning Stone, and I believe that was the last time I saw you.
that was.
We were both shocked that and then you kind of surprised me with the story of little Napoleon there, who
Oh, what's?
actually just saw the other day. But um,
Oh my goodness. You.
I'll never forget the same guy that gave you a hard time wouldn't allow that heavyweight fight. And I knew that there was a discrepancy of weight, but a heavyweight is 200 pounds and above. This guy weighed 201 or something.
Yes, he
You
did.
know,
I
I
remember
know. I know he was soaking wet and had a pocket full of quarters, but he
that.
weighed over 200, and the other guy was like 240, and they wouldn't let it happen. Remember that?
Right. He was playing matchmaker and should not have been allowed to do that. You're exactly right.
Yeah. Well, he didn't like you giving him the look, right?
Well, what happened was it was maybe the second bout of the night, and as I always do, I stand behind the scorekeeper, because sometimes these guys writing is not too legible, and I don't want to get up there and be marble mouth or say the wrong thing. Thank God I've never done that and called the wrong fighter the winner, like I've seen some other ring announcers do. So I always stand behind the person. I read the scorecard and make sure, that's correct. So I'm standing behind this guy. He turns around and looks at me. And Billy, I kid you not, he looked at what I was wearing and then he looked down at himself, what he was wearing. And then he got up and tried to push me and said, "Get back, get back." And I said, you ever put, and he touched me in my chest. And I said, "You ever put your hand on me again, I give the longest count in history." I don't know where that
Henry,
came from.
you would have laughed. Let's not mention his name, but I'm going to describe
Right.
what he was wearing at the last fight I saw him. Right. So
Uh,
you're saying good. And for anybody that's never seen Discombobulating Jones in the ring, he's a snappy dresser. All
I
right. I mean, this
appreciate it.
guy can dress. You know.
Thank you.
And so this guy, I said, "Hey, how you doing, so and so?" And he's sitting there looking like he should go and grab a tennis racket. He had the sweater with the arms tied around his neck, and
Oh,
it looked like it was like, "Are you in the right place, bro?" I mean,
oh,
it was just so funny.
wow.
And I was thinking about that night after you and I talked, and I saw him like that, and I'm going, "Oh man, he's missing, but he's still involved with the sport."
But
That's
low
for sure.
self-esteem guy, man, and I pray for people like that.
You have to.
I don't stay mad. I don't stay bitter. My mother taught me to be better. So I've actually forgiven, people, Rock Newman, Don King, guys that I thought would have kept their word to help me and chose not to. So I had to go back to these people and forgive them. I tell you, the only person, African American promoter of note at that level that could have helped me, did not, but apologized to me was the late Butch Lewis. He had a fight card at the Apollo one night. I couldn't get in contact with him. He called me about a month later. I said, "What was wrong in that picture, Butch?" He said, "Nothing, man. We had standing room only." I said, "Yeah, but come on, man. For the most iconic venue on the planet for black entertainment, you had a white ring announcer." He said, "Wow, I didn't even think about that." I said, "Obviously not." He said, "Well, Jones, you got them all from now on. We doing a quarterly series. You got all of them. My apologies, man. It should have been you. You're right." And then he died. I
He
said, "Lord, you must have something greater for me in mind."
he died too young, and the only thing that I remember about Butch Lewis was Michael Spinks. I mean, that
That's
was
right.
really it.
Right. The
But did you?
tuxedo with no shirt on.
Yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
he was that was his shtick.
That was
Hey,
his
I'm
stick.
gonna mention a name.
Okay.
You talk about black promoters, and this guy was he wasn't well known outside of like the club shows and everything. And I knew him pretty well. I got along with him great. He was a great guy, and I went to several of his fights. I'm just wondering if you ever did any ring announcing for Doug Pendarvis.
I remember that name, but I
He
can't
called
place
himself.
him.
He was the self-proclaimed godfather of boxing, and he dressed snazzy too. He was a pinstripe suit guy with
Remember that name. Where
uh,
was he
yeah,
based out of, Billy?
uh, Doug was based out of Massachusetts area, New England area.
That's right,
Um,
Pendarvis Boxing. We had conversations, but I never did announce for him. You're right.
Yeah, no, he
Hmm.
was a character. It's something that we're missing in the sport of boxing today. To be honest with you, Henry, we don't have those guys, the Butch Lewises, the on a bigger
No,
note, but and then the smaller venues like the we just don't.
no.
What do you think is the biggest challenge the sport of boxing is facing today? From your perspective, going like we're jumping back and forth. We started
Yeah.
talking about AJ and Jake Paul. Then we went back to some fantastic times and fights.
Hmm.
And now we're faced with this. So, what do you think is the biggest challenge?
Well, I think those things were the segue for me answering that question. And it's about the business of boxing now. It's not the love for the sport anymore. People don't have the passion for it. It's a tough sport. And, most guys don't make a lot of money in this sport. And you don't play boxing and, don't have the health benefits, the pension plans, none of that. And they go into other sports where they can make more money, and especially UFC. Um, they don't care about the win loss records. They care about fights. In our boxing business, man, we dote on that. Oh, keeping
We do,
undefeated.
we
But
do here in the states, but
yes,
they
we
don't
do.
in England.
Well, yeah, yeah. I'm only referencing the states because I've never announced over there. Even though I did announce in China one time for Manny Pacquiao promotion, and I digress. But I didn't see a dog or a cat the entire week we were there. Go figure.
you know, you know what they say, but that now that's funny. But
But that's the
anyway,
reason, Billy. We don't treat this sport with the respect that it deserves, and so our athletes go to other sports, and you can't blame them, really.
I've said a million times that if boxing was the way it was, and I'm talking 80s and before,
Yeah.
really, I would love it the
Oh,
way
that's
it was
heyday there.
in,
Woo.
in the 40s. I mean, if boxing was like it
Okay.
was in the 40s, as far as mainstream media, today we could have the best fighters ever because of the advances in nutritional
Hmm.
education that we have, training techniques,
Hmm.
physical, we're bigger physically, but because the mental is so much weaker that we don't have the strength mentally anymore, and people are looking at things the way you just said, what are you going to do afterwards, and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Who is your favorite fighter, your favorite boxer, whether he be somebody fighting now or past, or and why?
No, that's easy. Roy Jones Jr.
You're a Joint Jones, huh?
Man, first 10 years he was untouchable. And I think even more so than that is I had a brother, man, that got his brains blown out back in 88. And so I'm grieving and everything and self-medicating all that good stuff, right? Thank God been delivered. And I was looking at the Olympics and Roy got robbed. He put a towel over his face, started crying. I started crying with him. I'm the only one in the house looking at TV, and I'm crying with this guy. Didn't know him, but I'm looking at it, and I was like, wow, how could you rob this guy? It was so clearly cut that he won, and his talent is undeniable. And so I think, you know, I was living through him vicariously because my brother had, just transitioned. So over the years, Roy and I became tight, and to this day we still tight. And matter of fact, I guess I didn't sign an NDA or anything. So we're going over to Saudi Arabia in March, and there's a private equity investment group who has 7 billion to put into sports, and they're trying to compete with the NFL for football and to try to kind of revolutionize the pay for boxing. And so we're going over there in March, and Roy Jones is heading up the boxing part of it. So I'll be announcing those fights. So
Oh,
here
that's
it is.
great.
Here it is, full circle.
Yeah, no, that's
Full
great.
circle.
That's the kind of stuff that I love to be involved with. That kind of
Well,
stuff.
I'm definitely going to throw your name out there.
Hey, well, that's
You know
great.
I will.
Speaking of Roy, did you and you probably know this, but you did see that they gave the medal back to him, right?
I did see that.
That was pretty cool. They walked into his
Yeah.
gym in Florida.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool. That the guy who got the medal, his son
Hmm.
translated for him. I saw the whole thing. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
It was touching, it kind of heals a hurt, but man, boy, that he had to live with that for so many years, man.
I know.
But at the same time, when I was looking at her TV, I said, "Wow, this is gonna motivate this guy to be great." That's exactly what I said, and I told Roy this story too. I said, "Man, in that moment, I knew you gonna be like Hagler and not leave it up to the judges anymore."
No, you can't. Hey, listen, I was ringside for a Roy Jones Jr. fight, and I know you're not fond of Don King, but I had a real good experience with Don. And what happened was it was when Roy Jones was fighting at Madison Square Garden I believe it was February, and he was fighting uh the what's his name, the Puerto Rican champion there.
Val.
No, 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 no. This is when I need coach to help me. Who's the famous? Who's the one everybody loved in Puerto Rico? Not Camacho.
Oh, Trinidad.
Yeah, yeah, Felix Tito Trinidad. Okay, I
Uh
can't. I apologize, Tito. I could.
huh.
But anyway, I had Don come on my show, and we had a great interview, and we were promoting that fight. And I said, "Hey, Don, I'm gonna be ringside." He said, "Oh, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you." Right. So I
Mhm,
figured, yeah, sure, sure, right. Well, I
mhm,
get to Madison Square Garden, and this
mhm,
is when I first met Carl King, who he and
mhm,
I eventually called many, many fights together, televised fights, um,
mhm.
and I became pretty tight with Carl. But anyway, I go and my name's on the credential, and they're telling me, oh yeah, the press is up there in section 3 something, which is way in the nosebleeds, and so I was like, oh geez, so I'm asking, yeah, where do I sit? Blah blah blah. And the guy looks, he says, oh wait a minute, your name has this yellow marker through it. You got to come
Mhm.
with me. I'm telling you, man. Don King sat me ringside. I was 3 seats away from him. Okay. And that's where I sat and watched Roy Jones beat Tito Trinidad at
Nice.
Madison Square Garden. And I'll never forget him for that. I mean, I know he's
Mhm.
been bad to other people, but I have to go by how he treated me. And I'll never
That's
forget
right.
it.
That's
But
right. That's all you should go by. And,
yeah,
and,
no,
and
you have to.
to his credit, let me say this, give full disclosure. Um, he, I found out, he promised Jimmy Lennon Sr. that he would only use the son for his fights. And he kept his word until it came to a point he couldn't keep his word. And Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis fought, and it was Buffer introducing one and Lennon introducing the other.
That's right.
I
I
said,
remember that.
look at this.
I
So
remember. Well,
that's it.
Lennon signed a deal with Showtime. So
Right.
yeah, and that was
But he was
part of
Don
that deal.
King's ring announcer
No, I know
for
because
all his fight cards.
Lennox had to deal with HBO.
And that was Buffer's gig, his
Right.
contract.
Well, now Buffer, he just comes in for the main event and gets all his money. I'll never forget meeting him. I was at a fight in Denmark, and we all were in the same limo, the transportation limo, and I was amazed. Did you ever meet his wife?
Which one?
Well, the recent one who's like 40 years younger than
I met
him.
them all, man. You
Yeah, and
know
I
he's
was
my
like,
mentor, right?
damn, Michael, I mean, because at first, I didn't even recognize it because, when you hose off all that makeup, he
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
look at it. But he's 80 years old now, so
Yeah, he has a birthday this month. I wished
yeah.
him happy birthday. You know he's my mentor, right?
No, I know. That you had just said that before. No, listen, he's one of the best. To me, the two guys that stand out in boxing that I liked their coined phrases was him, of course, who was ahead of the, and then not an announcer, but Mills Lane, the referee, and everybody's tried to copy both of those guys ever
Let's
since.
get it on.
Yeah, well, he said that just because that's what he said. He
Yeah.
wasn't trying to coin the phrase.
No,
Then
he wasn't.
I'm fair, but I'm firm. This and that, and all this other stuff. Hey, when are we going to see you again? Doing your ring announcing.
Let's see. December 6th from Bally's in Atlantic City. Do you know the fighter Thomas Cornflake Lamana?
Yeah, Thomas Lamana. Yeah.
Yeah. So he and I had been tight for years. And so he's bringing me in to announce his farewell fight card December 6th at Bally's. And it's going to be on something called millions.com. I'm not sure
Yes.
about the
Is
streaming
that
service.
is that is that one of is that Floyd's? Um, is that Floyd's? Is he part of that? I think
I don't know.
streaming, and that's not the promoter from New York, in Boxing Insider, doing that show, is it?
Not that I know of.
Because I know my man Larry Hazard cut a deal with him. They've been doing a lot of shows in Atlantic City now.
I'm
Um,
not sure. Well, I'll tell you who called me the other day to do my application was Ron Katz. You know Ron Katz.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Ron.
yeah.
So Ron's involved with that. So whoever he's connected with, that's who's doing it.
Hey, does it? Hey, listen, us old guys got to stick together because there's
That's right.
there's there's some new waves coming in. I don't like what I'm seeing. I need to put my swimmies on.
Well, no. So I mean, I could ask Ron Katz about the telecast for millions if you want me to.
No, 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 no. I was just wondering. I know that he just did a one of his fighters was on a show that was done in Connecticut. I believe it was Foxwoods, and they
Okay.
streamed it, and he did it. And for some reason, I thought it might have been millions, but now your new best friend is in the chat room saying, "Hey, Bill, you got to have Henry back on the show soon." Now he's booking my guests too.
Coach
You
K,
know,
that's my
he's
man.
he's sitting here.
Thank you, brother.
He's got
I
all
got,
your
hey, you know,
questions.
I got a million other stories, so please bring me back.
No, we're definitely gonna bring you back
Oh,
on.
oh, this last thing is a couple Fridays ago I filmed a movie in Baltimore, a boxing theme movie called They Fight. And the A-list actor is a guy named Wendell Pierce from The Wire. If you remember that TV series of HBO The Wire, he played Detective Bunk. He always had a cigar in his mouth. And he's gone on to do a whole lot of other things, but that's his signature I guess, character. So anyway, that movie will be out after the first of the year. It's called They Fight, and they actually reached out to me to come in and play the part of the ring announcer.
Hey, you did that one good. Hey, I'm
Wasn't a
gonna send
stretch.
you. I gotta
Wasn't a
send you
stretch
a
at
copy.
all.
I gotta send you a copy of my book because anybody that's done a boxing movie should read this book. I've been trying to get it on the screen since it came out 10 years
Seriously.
ago, and it's been real close. We had several production companies in England that wanted to do it. It's I wrote a book about Tom Molyneux of the freed slave that
Yes, I read
yeah
about him.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, I wrote a book on him. Listen, email me your address. I'll send you a copy.
All right. Okay.
I even had the great Mike Silver tell me how much he loved it. And Mike's got a new book out now. It's actually sitting right here. When in doubt, stop the bout. And
Mm.
he's got some interesting ideas. Uh, some things boxing purists won't like, but
Okay.
all about the safety. But
Mhm.
anyway, Henry, I appreciate you coming on, man, and
Thank you,
we
man. Coach
definitely
K.
We'll and Coach K. Hey, Coach K, thanks for having Henry on.
Hey,
But
thank you.
I'll get with you. I have we got some slots after the first of the year, so
That'd be
I'll give you some
perfect.
dates, and then you pick it out. We'll have you back on, and we'll continue this, and hopefully, Coach can come up with some new questions since he exposed your whole youth and everything
Yeah,
else
he
here.
did.
You know,
Wow.
and then work on your damn camera. I don't care what you say. We want to see
I
you.
know. Nah,
You
this
know.
was the phone. It was the phone. I got to get on the computer next time.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
is.
But anyway, brother, it was great
Thank you.
chatting. And email me your address, and we'll
Okay.
get you. I'll get you some. I'll reply with some dates. You pick them out. We'll go from there.
Sounds great, Billy C.
All
God
right.
bless you, man. Be safe out there, brother.
Hey, you too.
Appreciate you.
You gotta be safe. It's a tough world out there.
Yes, it is.
All
Talk
right,
to
my
you.
man. Be
All
good.
right.
All right.
Peace.
Ciao. That's my man Henry Discombobulating Jones.